Good evening and welcome to South Range Raiders Football Stadium. It is prime time on YSN. We are here to get you ready for tonight's playoff action. The coach, Steve, with me, Zeronis, that far end, my wingman, and then our special guest, the one, the only, Paul Holia, the head coach of the Latonia Bears and former state champion coach of the first 15-0 team ever in the Buckeye State.
Awesome.
Welcome, Coach.
Absolutely.
Hey,
Thanks for joining us.
Well, thanks for having me. I mean, this is, real quick, I'd like to say for YSN, what we've gone through this season with the pandemic, and I'd like to personally thank them, for all the things that they did, for the high school football programs and to give people an opportunity to watch the games. And it was great. And I appreciate it. I know the kids did, and I know the communities did as well.
We couldn't have done it with any of that without the help of all the coaches in the community.
It was everybody. It was a great team effort all the way around, and special thanks to DJ. This was his brainchild. 2 weeks ago, he came to us and he said, I'm going to make another audible call on you. And I says, all right, audible away. And he Omaha'd it. And Steve and I and Nick, we all looked at each other and said, all right, let's do it.
Do what you're told, right?
Yeah,
We've
that's
been here
all.
for a week camping out. Eric Bailey, one of our big partners here at YSN. It was his idea with DJ. So hats off to him.
Yeah.
What a great place to be right now. There's no question about it. A little cold, I'm not going to lie, but what a great night, and we're going to have a good football game.
Absolutely, we're going to have a good football game. And when you talk about this showdown, this goes way back. This has been a rivalry for a long time. South Range, Crestview, each has had their number at one time. This is the fourth time they've met in the postseason, and so far it's been all Raiders in the postseason. They have won all four meetings, the last one being in 2017, and the other two were 2006, 2005. So can South Range continue the dominance in the playoffs, or does Crestview finally, get their number tonight? Will the fourth time be the charm?
And the fourth time to be the charm. That's why we got Coach Julia here to give us all the insight on both of these football teams, no doubt.
Well, we gave him a moment's notice, so and I know Coach being coach, he immediately got game film out, went to YSN, bought all the Crestview and South Range tapes, dug through them for us. So, all right, Coach, break it down.
Yeah, here we go. Let's go.
Well, one of the unique things is I used to be the head coach at Crestview too.
Absolutely.
And that was a long time ago. But most of these kids that are playing probably weren't even born then. But and we took the first team to Crestview to the playoffs in '91, and that's when they didn't take too many. But like you said, Mike, I mean, it's a great rivalry. Both of these teams are going to be jazzed up. Yep. I mean, this would be just an incredible game if it was just a regular season game. But now you're putting the playoffs involved with it as well. I mean, it's going to be the people that are here are going to see a great football game because, Coach Cusick and Coach Yeagley both do an outstanding job, and it's going to be a good game. I really think, and, it'll probably wind up being 3-0, but I really think it's going to be a high scoring game. Yeah. I mean, two really good offenses. They've got some great skill guys on both sides of the ball. So it should be a fun game to watch.
Coach, you've been here at this point of the playoffs. What's the feeling before in the locker room? What do you say? What do you do, or do you try to get out of the kids' way a little bit?
Well, and a lot of younger coaches ask me, hey, how do you, what do you do when you get to the playoffs? What do you do when you make a run? And I always tell them the same thing: you got to trust your players. You have to because they've gotten you to this far, and the tough thing is when you move forward in the playoffs, and I've said this many times, is that when you go forward in the playoffs, the teams don't get worse. Right. they get better. So the other team is going to make some plays.
Coach, is there a little extra bounce in both teams' steps tonight just because this is it? They've both said no more regular season games. They're kind of parting ways there, which I think is a shame. I think this is a rivalry that should always be played. And is one team going to maybe try and flex their muscles? Is the other team, they know that this is more bragging rights than any of the other games they've ever played.
Oh, sure. And you know what? In a playoff game, especially this deep, you keep your foot on the pedal. You have to. because your kids got to keep playing, and you got to keep them moving, in the right direction. But I do know this, that these kids on both sides of the ball, they're going to play through the fourth quarter. There's no doubt about that.
How important is a quick start in the game this magnitude?
Well, it's we always tell our kids, start fast, finish strong.
Yeah.
So it gives you a little bit of confidence. It puts you in a rhythm, especially when you have the ball.
Sure.
You get some first downs. You don't necessarily have to score, but get some first downs. You get in a rhythm. Your kids have a understanding of the pace of the game, and it helps. But in playoff ball, you win the fourth, you usually win the game.
Yeah.
So that's what it comes down to.
Coach, one of the things for me that I've always enjoyed your teams, and I know you keep a lot of tabs on. You got a lot of guys that you have coached that are now head coaches, assistant coaches. I know Mark Brungard, Coach Guerrero, Coach Williams. We talked offhand. How special is that for you to see those guys learning from all the things that you taught them when they were playing for you?
Yeah, well, it's my coaching tree is pretty big.
Absolutely.
You can say it.
It's not pretty big; it's really big.
And and that all that means is I'm old. So. But it goes. If I run it down, Andy Colellan's at Centersburg.
Wow. Okay.
He's at Centersburg. He was a captain on that '99 team.
Okay.
They had a great year this year. Won the league. We're undefeated in the first 6. And you mentioned Coach Guerrero. He played for us. At Poland, and Coach Coach Brungard, who coached for me, and then I coached for him.
Right.
At Poland. And that was great. And Antonucci too is one of his assistants.
Right.
Nooch. Nooch over there.
I forgot about Nooch. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Wait a minute. This isn't a tree. This is a redwood.
No, this is like this is a forest.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm just getting started.
There you go.
You got Nooch over there too, and then Coach Cusick at Crestview. He played for me when I coached at Columbiana. Back in '06. And then he coached for me at Crestview. And now he's a head coach, and a couple of his guys on his staff played for me while I was at Crestview as well. So, and you mentioned Coach Williams,
right?
Ryan. I gave him his first job when he was 22 at Crestview.
Okay,
at Crestview,
right?
And a bunch of his guys played for me. When we were at Poland. So I mean, it's fun to go to the games.
Absolutely.
I mean, it is. We're going to go over and watch Poland play tonight, and I'm just so proud of all those guys.
Awesome.
I really am. I mean, they're great people, and I tell those guys all the time, don't worry if you hang out with me for a little while. It's nothing the 10 years of intense therapy couldn't fix. So.
I don't know about you guys, but I don't feel worthy anymore to be sitting next to them.
Coach, when I look at things, and I look at these two coaches tonight, Paul Cusick for Crestview, Dan Yegley for South Range, they are both going to have these teams prepared. What can be the difference for one or the other team tonight?
Well, you go in and they know each other, because I'm sure they probably have every film. They probably knowing these guys, because I coached against Coach Yegley for several years when we were at Crestview. He's an outstanding football coach, great guy. And I'm sure they have all their films. They're all broken down. They have all the tendencies, and there's going to be adjustments, and they're going to hit the field with some adjustments, and then there's going to be in-game adjustments too. And both these guys are great in-game coaches, and that's going to wind up being the difference from the coaching standpoint. And I know it's a cliche, in football, but it's going to come down to turnovers. I mean, it always does. Coach Brungard when I coached for him, he would always ask me the same question on Saturday when we get done. He goes, can we win with 2 turnovers? Can we turn it over twice and still win? And he's a Trussell disciple.
Right, exactly. Right.
Trust, that's the only word ever comes out of his mouth.
So I look at all these games around tonight. Poland, Ursuline haven't played since 2005. Mm-hmm. Springfield gets Mogador. Mogador's definitely walking in there looking for revenge from last year. It's going to be their toughest test to this date. And then I look at this game. This is one I've looked forward to all week. I've studied some stats on it. I've looked at the teams, and I'm like, wow, when you said high scoring, you're talking we could be here a while tonight, huh?
Well, hey, you got to have a winner. So, it's It could go 5 or 6 overtimes. Like I said, I mean,
We got nowhere to go.
we got nothing to do. But like I said, I mean, it's probably going to wind up being 3-0 because you look at these guys, and I mean, you've got 2 really good offenses. I mean, Crestview's a great offense, and South Range has been putting up some numbers all year long, and I know Paul's got some great skill. So it should be a high scoring affair, and one unique thing when you have teams that can score in bunches, and both these guys can, if you do get behind, you don't panic. It's like, hey, we're down 2. Don't worry, guys. We're on schedule. Because we just need you get a couple stops and get the ball back, and we'll be in good shape. So I mean, it should be fun to watch.
How much do you think the wind and the elements here can play a factor in the offense?
I mean, it's this weather is beautiful.
Yeah,
little
too much wind, do you think, for the passing game, or no?
No, I mean, I think it'll be fine. Especially when you get some people in here. And,
it could be 23 and snowing for Ohio on Halloween, right?
Yeah, so you never know. You never know.
Coach, as you look at things and break it down, Steve and I have mentioned the last couple of weeks through the playoffs, the teams that have dominated in the trenches have been the teams that have come out victorious. How big is it tonight that one of these teams flexes their muscles here at South Range?
Well, it's they're the unsung heroes of high school football, college football, pro football. It doesn't matter. It's your offensive line. Because if you've got a good offensive line and they work well together, and both these lines are going to be very, very well coached. No one, because I've always been with the offensive line. I've always, and I always tell those guys, I said, you got to realize there's only going to be 2 people that are going to watch you there's going to be 3 people that watch you every play. Your mom, your girlfriend, and me. And that's because they don't get a lot, but their importance is unbelievable. Right. So whichever line kind of controls the line of scrimmage, usually by the time you hit the 4th quarter, that's a team that winds up moving the ball. Yeah.
Last couple of weeks in our post-game show, we had a couple different coaches, Ryan Williams and Coach Pavlansky at camp. We were going to think of forcing them to mention the offensive lineman by name, but they didn't have to be forced. They just rolled those names right off their tongue.
Yeah, well, I haven't been following Canfield, but Coach Williams is offensive line.
Gosh.
I mean,
I was a huge factor.
I was.
What are they feeding them in Poland?
Well, I was at their game last week, and I walked. I was in the locker room afterwards, and they walked by, and I said, I looked around. I said, "You just grabbed these guys from YSU." I mean, they are enormous. They got some big kids.
A huge difference.
And Ryan's kid plays too. He's the center. Nate's balling. He's doing a great job.
Who's got to stand out tonight? Which kid do you think? And I know you've seen all the players around here. Which player for South Range, which player for Crestview has to have the night?
Well, I mean, they're both quarterback-oriented offenses. Mm-hmm. And the quarterback play is going to be important. I mean, I'm old school. We still hand the ball off to tailbacks.
A pretty good tailback.
Yeah. You didn't have any problem doing that, did you?
I mean, our guys like under center, and they're, so it's like trick play now. But they're very quarterback oriented. So both quarterbacks are going to be asked to do a lot. They're going to have to push the ball downfield. They're going to have to run the ball. They're going to have to make decisions. They're both RPO oriented. So I mean, they're both of them are the quarterbacks are going to be big.
That's awesome. And, I appreciate having him. Coach, we've talked all year. We've been able to watch Latonia play football all year. I'm going to go hats off to you and your football staff and your football team, too.
I love
get home playoff games and win one and get another home game. What you've done at Latonia, Mike talks about it all the time. A phenomenal job, and salute for that, no question.
Congratulations.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that. It was fun from where we started and where we are now, and it is an amazing transformation. There,
yes,
you about it. You mentioned our tailback, and I've always told our best skill kid before every game, you got one job: make me into a great coach.
And he did that. He was fun to watch.
He made you into the Hall of Famer.
I used to tell Benny Beer in '99 before every game, I'd flip him the ball and I'd say, "Hey, you got one job: make me into a great coach."
He did a pretty good job.
Yes, he did.
All right, thanks, Coach. We appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming on and giving us some insight on that. Enjoy your night and go check out a good football
fun
game
tonight.
over there in Poland.
It should be fun. Hey,
All
thanks,
right.
guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Hey,
Hey,
thanks,
all right.
Coach. We
Okay.
appreciate it.
We appreciate
We
it.
will be back with more prime time right after this timeout.
Your teams work hard and give it all they've got. Well, so does ours, because 21 Sports and YSN give you extra effort when covering local sports. 21 Sports and YSN, winning coverage of our Valley's teams.
Planning a project around your home or rental property? Trust the electrical service to the local experts with 62 years of serving the Mahoning Valley. Joe Dickey Electric is your local go-to source for responsive, reliable residential electrical work. From everyday maintenance and repairs to new installations, electrical upgrades, and safety inspections, no job is too big or too small. Call Joe Dickey Electric today, 800-549-3976, or visit DickeyElectric.com. That's DickeyElectric.com.
Friday night, it's fresh limousine. I'm feeling pretty good about myself, like I'm living the dream. Platform shoes, strutting down the street. It's gonna get hot here, I hope you can handle the heat. Everybody get it.
Over the years, you watched us grow, and as we've grown, so has the Myers Family Insurance team.
Thanks to all of you who have trusted our families to help you with your Medicare needs.
Myers Family Insurance looks forward to helping you now for years to come. So call our family today and remind them how cute we are.
Myers Family Insurance continues to be the area's resource for all your Medicare and retirement needs. Call today, 330-286-3044.
We're good. Welcome back,
All right.
South Range
There
High
we go.
School, the
Yeah,
cheerleaders.
absolutely.
I'm ready now.
It's game day, baby. Let's go.
We got fans coming in, starting. The teams
Teams have
going
been
through
out of
their
the field.
walkthrough.
Yep, absolutely.
So you can't beat it. This is the first game we're going to touch on. Division 5, Region 17, second seeded South Range, undefeated. Crestview, they're the 6th seed, 6-1. In the other portion of the bracket, you got Kirtland undefeated at 7-0 and Sugar Creek Garaway at 7-1. I think there isn't one of us that wouldn't love to see a Kirtland South Range or a Kirtland Crestview game next week. But you break down these two teams, there's some numbers that just stand out to you, Steve, for South Range and Crestview.
Yeah, I think the skill on both teams. Coach Woolley had talked about that, the skill with the receivers and the running backs for both teams. And the quarterback play is going to be huge tonight. Cusick and Patron are two of the better quarterbacks in our area, no question. And they have great skill behind them. South Range is a little nicked up. But at this time of the year, everybody's nicked up.
Yeah.
But I think, one of the things that I was keen on Coach Woolley is saying is it's a quarterback oriented game. Well, which quarterback in Coach Cusick's son and Patron is going to have that game and get out of the gates fast? And DJ will be coming on here. South Range has jumped out of the gates against people, and to me that's one of the keys of tonight's game is who starts fast.
Yep.
Well, when you look at these two quarterback numbers, Patron 995 yards passing, 15 touchdowns,
Unbelievable.
just one interception. Now you flip it over to the Rebels, and you got Cusick, 869, two interceptions.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of interceptions,
Yeah,
so
but
that makes the defense
don't
worry.
turn
And
the
what did
ball
Coach
over a
Julia
lot.
say? Turnovers. You can't
Well-
have them. So you got two quarterbacks that know how to take care of the football.
Well, and that's the funny thing when you look at it on the year. Crestview has 13 turnovers. They're
Yep.
-1.
Right.
South Range is a +12.
Yep, absolutely.
They've only turned the ball over 4 times.
How many football teams can have a plus double-digit differential? That's
Well,
amazing.
but how many times, DJ, and you've been around a lot. Nick, you've been around a lot. Steve, you've been around a lot. 4 turnovers in 8 games?
With the offense they run.
yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you hate to say hug it, chug it football, but when you have to worry about a multi-dimensional quarterback like Michael Patron, I mean, you're already up against behind the 8 ball. So when you look at that, opportunities for South Range to kind of, I don't know. We talked about rhythm with Coach Yeagley last night.
Mhm.
He believes in rhythm big time. And this is a huge opportunity for South Range to do what they do. And that dream matchup that we talked about before the year with Kirtland, this is it. And then if you're the Crestview Rebels, I mean, one of the original 4 with South Range, this is upset central right here.
Yeah.
This is ground zero for upset central.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think this has upset, possibilities written all over. But I wanted to ask you, you've covered them all year. What is it that gets them every time we watch them in the studio? It's a jump start on offense. I like to say, and Mike does, chunk plays, huge plays early in games for South Range.
Yeah, so what Coach Yeagley, Coach Allegretto, the offensive coordinator for the Raiders, do really, really well is they see quickly what the defense is keying on.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're keying on Michael Patron, they're going to go to Dylan Dominguez.
Right.
If you're keying on Dylan Dominguez, they're going to go Michael Patron.
Pick your poison.
And that's it. And really, it boils down to, like we talked about JFK last night on the Joe Dickey Electric Scoreboard Show, you have to be able to stop both of them. And no team has been able to do that yet. And I think it's going to be matchup problems for Crestview, but they've trained all week for this game and for those two in particular. And you're not going to get a better scout team quarterback than Anthony Cusick.
No. And the thing is, Crestview's got speed on defense. That's what's amazing. But do they have enough speed to stop that two-headed monster?
That's why they play the game, right?
Yep.
Well, they call it a two-headed monster, but there's another name I want to throw out here for South Range, and I've been impressed with Luke Blasco.
The crushing Russian.
Yeah.
That's my dude.
There you go.
I mean,
What is he? He's like
349, 5 touchdowns.
20 yards a pop.
And,
Yeah.
And if you see the player profile we had with him yesterday, he walked about 16 laps around the school while we were doing his interview. I mean, the kid never stops, and it shows on the football field. And the most impressive thing about Luke Blasco is the wake he leaves behind him of just bodies. He'd rather score big hits than big touchdowns. And that's the difference between Luke Blasco. He'll happily give it to Patron or to Dominguez or Crumbacher as long as there's 11 bodies behind him and he's the one leading the way like a juggernaut.
Yeah, absolutely. But then you flip the side, go over to the Crestview running backs. Ethan Powell, 711 yards
Speed.
on the
Wow.
year.
Yeah.
And then William Hardenbrook.
Yep. That's
I mean,
power. That's the thunder. And you got Powell as the lightning. And that's very difficult for people to stop this year. And it's going to be interesting. Who's going to get the first stop is going to go a long way in this ball game.
Yeah, because it may be the team with the ball last
That could be too.
going to decide this.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it's going to come. I mean, we got a beautiful night for football all of a sudden after 9 weeks of just guessing games.
Right.
But tonight it's going to be interesting because it is cold. It is windy. Those pads are going to be clacking, and you hope that the injuries don't come because the body counts are starting to rise as we get towards the end of the season, and both teams a little bit dinged up. I think South Range is a little worse for the wear this week after their game last week with Beechwood.
What is it for you tonight? You're getting to call this game. What stands out for you as you prepared for it?
At the end of an era. And we talked about it, probably not as much as we should, and we don't want to highlight it necessarily. But, I mean, you're talking about two teams that are separated by, 5 miles?
If that,
So you look at that and you go, it's disappointing. I heard you talking to Coach about the nightmare of trying to keep teams on the schedule. And reality is, guys, these teams grew up together. Playing Little League baseball against each other, playing, flag football and soccer and whatever else. And even the back, some of these people were neighbors. Yeah. And this is the only time moving forward in the playoffs that you're ever going to see these two teams play each other. My key is who can keep their emotions in check, who can withstand the storm, so to speak, the rest of the night early and often. And without giving my pick, we talked about on the Power Hour, South Range has done that all year. They've kept their emotions in check. And I think it's going to be a good night, but a long night for the Crestview Rebels. I think they're outgunned in this game, and it's nothing against them. It's just South Range has played a lot better competition this entire way.
I like how you said keep their composure, DJ, because we've seen some chippy football last couple of weeks. And it's, late in the playoffs, so I guess it does get that way. But we've seen some downright, some I don't want to say dirty playing, but some real chippiness out there. So you're right. Keeping composure is going to be a huge thing. We don't want anybody getting cheap penalties, setting up people in deep in the red zone or whatever.
Well, there's a lot on the line.
Yeah,
throw a punch tonight and you win. You're out.
You're out. Right.
That's a big thing.
What did Coach Igley have to say last night? You talked to him late last night. How was his mind? So you don't have to go into detail, but what was his mindset like?
Well, it was about 11:30, so he was kind of tired, as was I. But reality is Coach watches a ton of film. I mean, the fact that he's willing to do an interview at 11:30 speaks volumes about not only the relationship
he still had an hour of film work to do.
That's it. And he says, listen, I watch film as much as I can. most people watch, especially this time of year, they're watching TV, they're watching politics, they're watching whatever to get the, to upgrade their vote or to make the best decision. He's watching film.
Yeah.
He is all in on this team. And what's incredible is, I hate to say, he's got nothing left to prove. I mean, a 200-plus game winner,
Right.
automatic Hall of Famer, and he's still coaching as if it's his first year in high school football. And I love the man. I love both these coaches. That's why it's so tough for me to do an objective, coaches corner with them, because they both have been there for me personally, professionally. And these guys are two hard-nosed football coaches that love their kids more than they love themselves. And that's the ultimate. That's who you want. If you're strapping up, you want a coach that's going to go to war with you.
Okay, so Coach Bell have the call. I know you're going to have a great call, but here's from all of us. Here's my thing. Prime time here at South Range.
Yeah, man.
EB, and you come up with this idea. How special is this? Honestly, I could just I look at you and it's like the beam on your face is.
Well, it'd be on my head, except I have a hat on.
Well, I'm a little cold too. I'm not going to lie to you, but it's special for all of us. But I know this is something for you with two of the first four teams you had from your basement, from the get-go with Brian. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, from the first brick that was laid at YSN, being Latonia and having Coach Julia in this seat and talking about YSN, it was special. It was special, and it doesn't get any more special because you've got the other, two out of the other three teams that were the first to jump on board are on this field tonight. And both of these coaches were the first coaches that said, let's sit down and talk and let's do this coaches corner you're talking about, see what this is all about. And every week I annoyed the hell out of them for 20 minutes at a time, asking them probably the stupidest questions, but building a relationship, and a relationship that's lasted 4 years. Each and every week. And for us to be able to do this, Steve, to answer your question, it is special because we've done a lot of things this year that we've never done before. A lot of things that I look at Brian and I give him a ton of credit because I look at him and he probably thinks I'm the craziest person in the world when I come back with these ideas, and somehow he makes them work. And this right here, this is EB. Yeah. This is Eric Bailey that stepped up, and we were talking about ideas, and he said, what about like a college game day on campus, talking about, the teams at bay? We haven't got it even into the other games yet, have we really?
No.
So, I mean, talking about the other two games that are going on tonight, talking about, doing interviews, special interviews, getting the cheerleaders involved.
Yeah.
What I always hear from not pundits, but talk radio hosts is, imagine if there were fans. Imagine if there were fans. And everybody says, well, if there were fans, YSN wouldn't be so. I doubt
don't
that.
think so.
I think we would be just as successful with fans as we are sitting here today, and even more so, because I think the word's out. This is the place to be. YSN is the platform for sports in the Valley now. We've taken over, and it hasn't been without hardships, and it sure as hell hasn't been without you guys and our entire team of 50-plus people that have really lit the flame in this valley for sports again when 3 months ago we didn't really have it. So thank you.
I'm a kid in a candy store. You text me this morning and I'm like, I'm at work and I'm like, I can't answer right now, but man, I want to answer.
I want to pick that up.
I want to, and I can't. I want to call them. I want to just jump through the phone and hug them. And I was like, this has been a blast for me. This is something like when I left FMJ a few years ago, my fire was out. Now I look forward to this. This is like nuts factor for me. Like I'm a kid in a candy store again.
I woke up at 11 this morning. That's when I knew it was going to be real. The girls slept in till 8:30 because they didn't go to bed till 3:30. Thanks to Jeff feeding them all that candy.
And the candy, all the candy, yeah.
But reality is I woke up and that's the thing. They talk about entrepreneurship. They talk about YSN, where we came from and where we're at now. The thing about what we do is it's a passion for me. It's an excitement that I jump out of bed and I can't wait to do what we do every day. And, again, challenges, yes, but nobody ever said it was going to be easy. And we're on the 2-yard line, guys. Yeah. That's the scary part about it is people think that we're done. We're at our peak. We're on the 2-yard line. We got 98 yards to go.
And if we score, we're going for 2 anyhow.
You're damn right we are. Yeah. Put it up right now, right?
That's it.
We're going
to. When you text this morning, like Mike was saying, you text this morning, I was drinking my coffee out of my YSN mug, of course. And I'm like, after we were texting, I sat and just thought about it for about a few seconds. I think we aren't doing this tonight. It is going to be. It's something that's just. It's not done. And we're not done, like you said. Even though we're doing this right now, we're going to carry this even further. We're just we're scratching the surface, man.
That's it.
And with your vision, we're just uphill.
I can't see anything right now because the sun's in my
eyes.
eyes.
Well, yeah.
But you look at it and we'll have ideas that come off of this.
Sure,
and we say, what do we do? Because I mean, this is going to be successful. I think this is fantastic. And you talk about next week. Let's ride.
Yeah.
Where you guys want to go, we'll set up. We'll get a table. I don't care. Listen, it might look janky the first year. I don't care. We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it work. And what's most important is what we talk about, not what we look like. Right? We're not worried about that. We're fans. Right?
This whole season's been about community. We've all talked about it with all the coaches, and all they mentioned, the first thing they mentioned is everything that's going on is the community. So why not give back? Let's get into the community like we're doing and give everything back to everybody that's been so loyal to us this whole time.
Can I just, while we have a second, say thank you to South Range hosting us. But look at these pumpkins. I mean, awesome. A YSN pumpkin. You got a South Range pumpkin. Like, this is where it's at. Like the embracing of who we are and what we mean to
South Range,
to Crestview, to the schools, the 52 schools we represent, soon to be 53, that we represent, because we don't try to compete with what they do. We supplement what they do. And I'm so excited. And we won't rest until we have every school in the country covered.
The pumpkins
go have
are
a good
ironic,
call,
man, because that's what the Cinderella story.
Cinderella
story. YSN
story
is, man.
YSN's
a Cinderella story.
Go with Coach Bell and have a great call. That's all I know.
I'm going to tell Donnie Fair and turn the stove on. We'll get
turn
some
the stoves on.
Seeds.
We'll get some pumpkin seeds. But have a great call, my friend.
Let's go.
Absolutely. Let's
Bring
go.
it home. All right.
Righty.
Hey, we're going to take a quick time out. We're going to be back, and we're going to look at all the games in the area tonight.
Prime time.
Prime time.
Baird Brothers remains your source for fine hardwood products. For the time being, we're open for customer pickup only on weekdays, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. and Saturday from 9 a.m. till noon. Place your order online at bairdbrothers.com. Baird Brothers, for the place you love.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
The 4M Company, being an architect and construction manager for over 40 years, has had the opportunity to use many different electrical businesses for our projects. The depth, quality, and knowledge and attention to detail displayed by Dickey Electric makes them stand out above all the rest.
For state-of-the-art expertise and a timeless commitment to our customers, contact Joe Dickey Electric. We are everything electrical.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with G. Burbick Farms. For the last 100 years, my family has farmed in the Columbiana and Mahoning counties. I began raising cattle in 1996 with the goal of providing a better product for you and your family on the dinner table. Our grass-fed and grain-supplemented Black Angus beef are raised with no hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. We're known for our hometown-friendly service and incredible tasting products. We're locally owned and have customers across the tri-state area. Our products go from our farm to your family. Stop by our farm on New Buffalo Road or visit us on the web at gburbickfarms.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. G. Burbick Farms, it just tastes better.
Welcome back to South Range High School. It is prime time on YSN. We've been talking about South Range Crestview. We're going to turn the page a little bit here. First and foremost, though, Mrs. Adams.
Yes.
She painted these pumpkins.
Outstanding.
God bless her
Absolutely.
and thank her, man.
Job,
that
Mrs.
is
Adams.
awesome.
Yeah, from South Range, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you for making the set, sprucing it up a little bit for us for sure. But hats off to her and all she does for the South Range students.
Fantastic job.
All right. Let's go to Division 4. Poland, Ursuline. Bulldogs, 7-1. Little sluggish in both playoff games, but still got it done both times. Ursuline, 6-2. Had a big lead last week at West Branch. Had to hold on to beat the Warriors.
Right.
First meeting since 2005. The Irish won that one 13-0. I mean, it's a world of difference since 2005. But when you break down this game, guys, Steve, what do you see as a key factor for that one?
I think the biggest factor is going to be the offensive line for Poland. Obviously, they're big, they're fast, they're strong. And then from an Ursuline standpoint, the speed factor, it plays in big time. I'm curious to see the style that Ursuline's going to play with. Is Coach Reardon going to go fast? Are they going to be no huddle? I mean, they're always no huddle, but they'll speed it up at times. I want to see how they start out, and I want to see how Poland starts out. But in talking with Ryan Williams a lot, I think you're going to see them slow the pace down, play 4 yards at a time, and see if Ursuline can handle the physicality. But if you're Ursuline, you want to go fast pace. You want to be in open space with all your athletes. So, again, we talked last night that the athletes on that football field tonight on both teams, the environment there, just as in here, will be off the charts. But the big thing for me is which quarterback's going to play the better game? Brady Shannon or Fulton from Poland is going to be the key there. It's a quarterback-driven offense at Ursuline. He does a great job with Coach Reardon's son, Matt, as a receiver, and McElroy at the running back. And, Senefani is a big-time receiver for Poland. It's had some big plays. Right. So I think the pass game comes into play in tonight's game a lot and into that game, too. Whoever can pass the football, I think, wins.
I think it's going to be the toughest test for Poland's secondary all season. I mean, because they're going to see pass play after pass play after pass play.
I think it's compared to South Range, like when they played South Range.
Yeah,
that's a good point. I've watched Ursuline a lot in the studio. They play fast. They can hit you with the big play. The question for me is, can Ursuline's defense sustain that physicality on the line of scrimmage with Poland? And I think that's the key to the game.
Well, think what Coach Julia said earlier when we had it. He said that Poland's offensive line they can wear you down. Yeah, they can wear you down, and so I don't know. I think that's going to be where the game's won. And like we were talking about it last night on the Joe Dickey Electric scoreboard show. If this game gets out of the 20s, Poland might be in a little bit of trouble. So Coach Williams is going to want to keep this game. Just like you can compare this game a ton to Canfield Streetsboro last night. Poland playing the role of Canfield Streetsboro and Ursuline to get like each other. If Poland can keep this game relatively low scoring, I think they can have a really good chance of beating Ursuline.
I think the big thing for Poland, they can't get down by more than 2 scores, because if they do, now they can't do what they like to do. That ground and pound goes out the window.
Yeah,
that's not their mantra.
What do you guys think, comparing Ursuline to Salem? I know Poland had a little bit of trouble with Salem earlier. What do you think we can compare those two teams?
You can, but I think there's a lot more speed
on Ursuline's side.
Yeah, I would say a lot more speed. Obviously, I think that's a big thing. But I'm with you. First down's a big play for both of these teams. Like, can you get behind the chains, you're in trouble. If Poland can get in the second and shorts, Ursuline can be in trouble. But Coach DeSantis, the offensive coordinator at Ursuline, does a great job of spreading people out and finding mismatches and exposing those things. And I think the thing for Ursuline that they've been down before. And it was back and forth last week with West Branch, and so has Poland. But I'm with you. I don't know if Poland can get down 14-0, 21-0 to Ursuline tonight and chase all game.
Yeah, if they're chasing it, it could be bad, and it gets probably over what we thought.
Yeah.
If that game's around 24 points for the winner, Poland's got a shot.
Poland's got a really good shot.
Got a really good shot.
I'm glad too, Steve. You mentioned the Senefani kid from Poland. We were talking about it a lot of times with Ursuline. As the secondary is a little bit different.
Right.
Not the some of their holes are in the secondary. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And Senefani can go up and get balls.
Yeah, he does. I did a player profile with him early on, and what a great kid. And I think what I go back to and people don't realize is Poland missed 2 weeks of double session.
Sure did.
They did.
So yes, they lost to South Range, but that's a different Poland football team from the first opener against South Range than it is today. I'll be the first to say it. I don't think Coach Williams gets the credit that he deserves.
Right.
It's coaching world brutal to begin with, but he just puts out good football
teams.
They're
a tough crowd in Poland.
No, they are, and people they're boring. They're this. Hey, You got an offensive line like that, you ride them.
You're 7-1.
Yeah.
You can be boring all you
All
want.
you want, and just win, and get into a
just
state
win,
semifinal last
and do
year.
the same formula that they did last year.
No
Struggle
question.
early in the season and then just start running off games.
Yeah, the thing is, you don't want to peak week 1.
No.
Right.
You want to start right now is about the time you want to start playing your best football.
Yeah.
And
And they ran it all the way. They ran it all the way into the Final Four last
And
year.
you take it to Coach Reardon. He comes back. He's won 4 state championships. He knows what he's doing here, and they're talented. And the thing about them, they're very talented, but they're very young. They really are. There's not a whole lot of seniors getting a lot of snaps on that football
he is
team.
absolutely relishing what this team's doing
No, there's no
because they're
question.
young.
How excited was he when we had him a couple weeks ago?
He
on the
was
postgame show?
because, and the thing that I loved was they can't buy into their press clippings.
No.
They know that they've got to show up every week. And when they don't show up every week, they've had trouble. And they lost a game up at Harding. They had no business losing.
I'm glad you brought that up because we were talking about Poland being 7-1. Ursuline 6-2. Their 2 losses are to Harding and Fitch.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking 2 very strong Division II schools here.
Yeah.
So their 6-2 is a very nice looking 6.
Yeah, like you said, should have never lost that Harding.
Yeah.
Never.
They were up almost the whole game, give up a touchdown late, and turn the ball over. Their problem's been they've turned the ball over in the red zone.
Yeah.
I mean, turnovers are bad. Turnovers in the scoring zone. You're not going to beat Poland. You turn it over.
Yeah,
in
it
the
doesn't
scoring
do
zone.
any good.
No, if you don't punch it in when you have a chance to get up on Poland, you're going to be in trouble because they're eventually going to make you pay the other way for it. And Poland's just, I love the Poland mentality player. And it's probably, if you looked at every team that's playing tonight, they're all similar. Lunch pail, business-like, let's go get down and dirty in the trenches. And they love to get down and dirty in the trenches. If they win that game in the trenches tonight, that's going to be a fun game for Poland.
Well, the winner's going to be all of us because we've got a team going advancing.
Either
way,
way.
how about the other side of that bracket?
Well,
too?
and that's the funny thing. Like the winner of this game already knows they're on the road next week.
Right.
More than likely. Unless Menor Lake Catholic somehow dials up the upset of this
but has that got to be one of the strongest 12 seeds you've ever seen any tournament
It is.
format?
I get it. I get that they're
But anything's
12 seed,
possible.
Yeah.
but all 3 of us got to see Canal Fulton Northwest a few weeks
Yeah,
ago. And I'll give Gerard credit. Gerard never quit on them.
No.
Never quit. But it seemed like Canal Fulton Northwest, whenever they needed to flip the switch, they flipped it.
Yeah.
Big time flipped it.
And they looked like a number 1 seeded.
They're the real deal.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
no matter who wins between Poland and Ursuline, and if I had to pick, man, something tells me Poland, but my gut's just saying Ursuline tonight for some reason.
Really?
Yeah.
Good. That's a nice. That's strong, man.
I don't know if I want
It's not even 6 o'clock. You're coming strong on us here.
I don't want to pick that game. I really.
I don't either. But
we understand.
And I get it, Steve. I mean, that's a tough game to sit here and pick. If Poland wins that game, I'm not going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
But something in my gut tells me that this young, and I like to always say this when you have a young, dumb team. It's not that they're dumb, but they just.
Yeah,
they're gonna,
I know what you mean. They're almost numb to what's going on around them.
They're just going to come play the game. And sometimes when you just play the game, it comes to you.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to play devil's advocate, but I guess I will. I'm gonna go with the Bulldogs in this one. I think.
All right, so my daughter's an athlete at Ursuline. I'm gonna go Ursuline.
Okay.
I'll go with family and my daughter. I know she wants to see them.
Yeah,
win.
but I know you're not going to be disappointed if Poland wins.
No.
I
said last night, I think the winner of that football game could win a state championship, and I truly believe that.
We absolutely
agree
with you.
Absolutely. I think those 2 teams are as good as anybody left in the state that they could win.
I think the state champion in Division III is coming out of Region 13.
That's a good point too.
That's a great call, Mike.
Chardon and Canfield, no doubt.
So I look at that and I'm like, there's a chance that there's going to be a lot of fun come state championship week around.
The good part is we'll get it. One of those teams will play in a regional final. Somebody here will be in a regional final. That'll be 3 teams we have to get a chance to get to the states.
Do you want to do Division 6? We want to take a break and do it.
Nah, let's flip to Division 6. Region 21, top seed Springfield, 8-0. Let's face it. Have the Tigers really been tested this season?
No.
Because they have put their foot on the pedal and done whatever they've wanted to do.
And here's the thing. They may not have been tested because I don't think anybody could test them. Anybody they played, Springfield just seems to be on a different plateau than they are.
Yeah, I'm with you, but they'll get tested tonight.
They are.
Margador
Oh,
is
yeah.
is a powerhouse.
Historic team.
They will come ready to play at Springfield tonight. But I truly believe I think tonight you're going to see a different Springfield team tonight. I think you're going to see a better one than you've seen all season. I think Sean does a great job of preparing them for moments, and he, in talking with him, this is a moment that he knows this football team needs to be ready to go because they can get beat if they're not.
I'm sure he's been in their heads all week, and I know we give Bo Brungard a lot of credit because he's the guy that just lights the match for them.
He's been terrific.
Steve, tell me 2 players that could step up for them tonight and be the difference maker other than Bo.
I'll go with Brady right off the
There
bat.
you go.
On the line of scrimmage, their offensive line is fantastic, and their receivers are Martin, the defensive tackle, is one for me that is off the charts. Those two, for them to, I mean, they're skill guys. He spreads the ball over to so many people. It would be an injustice to name one receiver or one running back. I'm gonna go O-line and D-line because that's where they win. I do.
How quick was Sean to point out Brady when we were talking to him last week?
Oh, he's big time quick because Brady has started for him since he walked into the place,
right.
and his dad's been a head coach. He makes all the calls on the line of scrimmage. But one of the things that impressed me the most about what they do, and Sean's been around a long time. He's big on with Coach Tressel. He told me that Bo is doing things that college coaches have a hard time reading and zone reads and keeps. And he's a junior.
Yeah.
That's not even fair.
Remember when I joked with Sean last night? I said, even Bo's incompletions are pretty passes.
Yeah.
And it was a joke, but it really wasn't, because you could just see some people you can tell have it.
You know what's been great for them? Their dad. He is the most grounded person I have ever met. When you talk Tressel disciple, I have talked to him since Mark's days at Springfield when he was, and I remember there was a lot of recruiting going on for him, and he was tickled to death to play at YSU. And you go back and you look, you can talk about, I see where that passing comes from.
Yes.
That is right out of the bloodline of that family, because you go back, Brungard had one of the most impressive passing days in a national championship game that anybody's ever had.
Sure did.
I think he has the highest efficiency rating ever in 1AA.
I think you are exactly right. Yep.
And Bo has been offered from YSU. I'm sure. I mean,
you don't think Mark's sitting there like, hey,
it's
here
not
you
a bad
go.
place to go.
There you go.
But when I talked with Brady, I tried to get him to go dad a little bit, and he's like, Mr. Leslie, he's just dad to us.
Yeah.
Football, yes.
Yeah.
But mom and dad in that situation, 2 solid people.
Right.
Mark always told me when he started coaching his boys, when they went home,
there's no sports. I mean, no football.
They talk, and they'll talk football, but it wasn't coach talk.
Right.
It was dad talk.
Yeah.
And I always thought that was fantastic, that they could leave it at the field, leave it at the school, leave it at the
And they
game.
believe a lot in their faith too, and that keeps them very
there's no
grounded.
question. The faith end of it's
absolutely.
big, but I think
never
there's not two better parents than mom and dad.
And then you top onto that the head coach, Sean Guerrero. There is nothing anybody could ever tell me, Sean, there can't be an enemy in this world against that guy.
He comes from a strong family bloodline, huh?
Yeah, he got some family blood. No, but you know what? I agree with you. I don't.
He's just classy.
Yeah, he.
That's a great word.
He
for it.
cares about kids big time, and when
does.
I talked to a lot of their players, I did. Give me one word to describe Coach Guerrero: caring, loving, passionate. He has a relationship with all of them away from football, but they also know that they need to do what they do. And I'll throw it to all these coaches here. In this pandemic, you better play football, you better go to school, and you better do what you're supposed to be doing.
Better follow the line,
because you can win a game tonight, and Monday's not a given.
Yeah.
With what we deal with, you see colleges going, Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
It's so that's where I give credit to Sean Guerrero and Coach Pavlansky and Williams, and they do a good job of keeping their teams in bubbles.
Yeah.
And that's hard to do. I know it is. But
when we had Coach Bell on from Lisbon, and we were talking off air a little bit, I said, how are you guys coaching like against two different opponents every week?
It is.
And he says, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
He's
coaching
absolutely
against COVID, and you're coaching against who you're playing.
And it's a fact.
It's hard that you got to tell a teenager that you basically had to live in a
Don't
bubble.
be a teenager.
And I think credit to all the schools. I mean, if you look at it, there was very few schools that shut down during the season this year in this area. And I give them a lot of credit.
Well, think about how many teams outside of our area have been interrupted in the middle of the season, canceling games and stuff, and we haven't had a lot of that at all.
Yeah, we've been lucky. Now, we talk Mogador. We know they're walking into that. They're walking into New Middletown tonight, and they're thinking there's no way they're losing.
No.
And because that's what they do.
They get a mystique about them.
And they're 6-1. They lost to them last year, 35-21.
Right.
Great game.
Right.
But I just don't know that they're going to have the horses to go against Springfield.
Yeah, I don't think that they do. Obviously, we've enjoyed doing this. You know, who knows if Springfield can get a win? We may be sitting at Springfield High School next week for a regional final.
Yeah,
there you go.
I don't know. You know, there's no talks of it. We'll get to that, but obviously, we'll have a team at home in Springfield if they win. Canfield goes on the road, and the winner of this game will go on the road, which we're not afraid to go on the road. I know DJ's not afraid to do that, but
I'll chip in for gas.
I'm with you. I don't know if they could score with Springfield, I guess I would say, because Springfield knows they're going to score.
Yeah. And well, this is a game, and we much talk like this. Poland's got to keep the score low. Canfield had to keep the score low. If you're Mogador, if you get into a shootout with Springfield,
good night.
Yeah,
it's they're at the 35-point mark, and the game's over.
I think this game starts slowly, and then Springfield carries it and just goes away with it.
They'll build momentum.
Yeah.
And this is weird. Mogador could go up 2 touchdowns on them tonight, and I'm going to sit here and be like, we're okay.
Yeah,
they're okay. They're going to come back. So
I'm sticking with what I've been saying all year, guy. I've been saying it since week 1. Springfield's going all the way. I'm sticking on I'm riding that horse all the way to the state championship.
I'm calling Tigers.
Here come the Raiders coming on the field.
The
Raiders.
There you go. Wow.
We'll take a break.
Yeah, we're going to take a quick time out.
I'm going to go run with them.
And we'll be back with more Prime Time on YSN.
Prime Time.
Storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Day in the showers, I'm keeping my eye on in parts of Columbiana County.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Pizza. Welcome back to Prime Time.
Prime Time
at South Range High School. The Raiders getting ready to kick it off against Crestview. They're on the field stretching, and
we got to go stretch with them pretty soon.
I'm ready to go run. I got to find some hand warmers or something.
The wind's going down a little bit. It's getting a
the
little
autumn.
bit chilly.
Wait a minute, is that the phrase? The autumn wind is a Raider.
Yeah, how many guys can we fit in there with DJ and Coach in the press box while they're making the call? There's not enough room in there. But
I saw Cappuccino on the way in, so
yeah, we're good.
Little thunderstruck on the radio,
yeah,
on the box.
We're
we got
going.
it going on at Prime Time.
Who picked this music? Because I think we can come back here
DJ,
several more times.
DJ Pauly D.
So not bad. All right, let's break it down. We've talked about South Range. We've talked about Crestview. Some numbers that just stand out to you. Dominguez, 18 touchdowns this season, Steve.
Yeah, he is a workhorse, no question. One of those guys, yard after contact, he's good at. Great in open space. Does a lot of things well. And just a competitor.
If you don't wrap him up, you're in trouble.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing. We'll Crestview be able to tackle him on the line of scrimmage, or is he going to carry people like he's been doing all year?
And
that's a big thing in this football game.
Once the sun goes down and it gets colder tonight, that's going to be hard to wrap people up.
Well, the guy that's probably going to see him a lot tonight is Rockland Butera.
Yeah, Rockland Butera is a good tackling machine.
3 tackles on the season.
Yeah, that's you know what you're doing when you make 83 tackles in the season, and they will have, I'm sure, a few conversations and a few collisions in this one tonight, no doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's averaging over 10 tackles a game.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's pretty good in high school. So you got him. We've talked about the quarterbacks. You got Patron, you got Cusick. They're good. Let's talk about the receivers. That's been the one. Patron has spread that ball around. Crumbacher, Blasco. Now, we know Gehring's not going to play tonight.
Right.
But if their touchdowns hold true, it's 3, 4, and 4 for those guys this season. So it's not just one guy that's been the weapon receiving-wise for South Range.
Yeah, I think that's the good thing for them. They spread it around, and they got a couple guys in the backfield. They run a lot of reverses, a lot of things they do well. Very diversified offensively, and I think that's what's hard for a lot of teams to play with them because they can score in so many ways.
Well, and their mentality, though, Gehring won't play, but it's the next man up here at South Range.
Right.
That's it.
That's just the way.
And look how many, and they can just replace them, and just a lot of athletes. Hard for a lot of teams to keep up with.
Well, and there's a kid that's just been waiting. This is his chance. There's an
on a
unknown
big stage
kid out there on a big stage that may make the play tonight.
Yeah.
But when you flip it over to the other side, you got Brandon Janssens for Crestview.
Right.
You got Hardenbrook again. That Hardenbrook name comes up a lot for Crestview.
Yes,
Where do
it
you,
does.
rushing, receiving?
Yeah, he does.
Oh, by the way, he has 58 tackles.
Yep.
Right.
So
you'll hear that name quite a bit tonight in the broadcast with DJ and Charles. But yeah, he's that guy that can get you with the rush, and then he finds some openings against a lot of zone defense. He's found some openings, and Cusick's a good quarterback. So
that's what I was going to say. We love Patron, and for every right, he's a great kid, great quarterback. But Cusick hasn't done anything to show that he's not a good player either. He's a very fluid passer.
Yeah. Now here's a stat that blew my mind when I looked at it. Crestview has only given up 55 points all season. You do know that 21 of them came in the rain at Champion.
Wow.
So take that away, you're sitting at 34 points over the next 6 games.
Total.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That defense.
That's the type of defense they're going to need tonight.
Yeah. They come to play, and for me, they're going to get tested, though.
Yeah.
I look, their schedule, South Range schedule. I truly believe that the Raiders have played a harder schedule.
Yeah, there's no question about that. The league has prepared them to do that. I think that, and they've gone through the schedule pretty easily, I must say. They've had a lot of big wins against some big schools, and that prepares you for a game like tonight, no doubt. And I think that's where I lean to with them, with their schedule and their skill. I just think it's a tough test.
I think Crestview has the defense to stop or slow down South Range. I don't want to say stop because nobody just stops South Range, but they have a defense to slow down South Range. But as I said in the Springfield game, I think that eventually South Range pulls away and gets a couple touchdown lead on them.
I think South Range is going to force 2 turnovers tonight. There's a team that's plus 12.
Yeah.
They thrive into those situations, and then they make teams pay.
Yeah, that's been their MO all year. They get that big turnover, and they score off of it pretty quickly. So I'm with you. I think you'll see some turnovers tonight. I think, I go back. They just score so fast, and I think that knowing Coach Yeagley, you want to get off to another quick start tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the other thing I look at, South Range, 8 games, 23 penalties. You want to talk about a fundamentally sound team. There's probably not a lot of teams I could look around the state right now and that stat's sitting there.
Right.
Yeah, they don't.
That's why they get
do
to
a
where
lot
they're
of
at.
things to hurt themselves. That's why they're in this position year in and year out, because they're coached so well.
Right.
And it's going to be a great environment. It's actually, it's a little cool, no doubt, but good night for football. The weather's cooperated, and
Coach was just walking by a little bit ago. He looks fired up.
yeah,
He's ready
Coach
to go.
Yeagley's ready to go. There's no doubt about that. He waved over.
There he
and
is.
I think
he's ready.
That, I just think that they do things the right way, and then they got a great community of support. And it's like I said last night. You've heard about Kirtland so long,
right?
I think you're going to see a team come tonight that wants that opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. This is we're not going to lie. This has been circled all year for them.
Yeah.
They knew
that they could get to
where
this point.
they wanted to get to this point, who they were going to have to go through. I think they're not only up for the challenge, they want the challenge.
I'm sure.
But just like we said with Poland and Ursuline, we're all winners no matter what happens.
Yeah, there's
tonight.
no question. Everybody's
you're
going to
winning
get the opportunity, and you play on. There's no doubt
We're
about that.
We're going to get one of our teams.
One of our teams will be going.
That's right.
There's no question.
Right.
So
let's take one final time out
we
here.
got a treat coming up.
We got a treat
it's
coming
Halloween,
up
right?
for
We
you.
got
a
a
Halloween treat coming up.
We got
A little
the
prime time. We'll make our last parting shots before we go to the treat of the night. And this has been fun. No
Let's
question.
do it.
Absolutely. We'll be right back.
21
Good evening,
News.
and thank you for joining us.
Let's get right to our top
More
story
experienced reporters
A new Wilmington
At
restaurant.
GM Lordstown,
telling more local stories
We'll look at
baby
efforts
boy
to
is
curb
recovering from a broken.
around our
Good
valley.
afternoon.
in Niles,
We are
one
here in
Triangle Valley
Youngstown, right
business.
up.
Because you expect
It's important for everyone. No place like home.
more local news.
In Mercer County
Before
Court.
they become life-threatening.
21 News is our valley's #1 local news.
Welcome home to a home made homier with Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods. Inspiration starts at BairdBrothers.com and is turned into reality when high-quality hardwoods are delivered right to your home. Baird Brothers has the latest design trends, shiplap and skinny lap interior siding, antique oak rustic flooring, and, well, you'll find them all at BairdBrothers.com. Ordered easily, delivered conveniently, enjoyed comfortably. BairdBrothers.com.
Hello, I'm Greg Burbick with G. Burbick Farms. For the last 100 years, my family has farmed in the Columbiana and Mahoning counties. I began raising cattle in 1996 with the goal of providing a better product for you and your family on the dinner table. Our grass-fed and grain-supplemented Black Angus beef are raised with no hormones, steroids, or antibiotics. We're known for our hometown-friendly service and incredible tasting products. We're locally owned and have customers across the tri-state area. Our products go from our farm to your family. Stop by our farm on New Buffalo Road or visit us on the web at gburbickfarms.com. Don't forget to like us on Facebook. G. Burbick Farms. It just tastes better.
No, I wasn't. That would be funny. You're back.
All right, welcome back. I'm talking to my man, Jeff Bedos, a proud member of the YSN family.
And we're proud to have him.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Guys.
Absolutely.
We've picked all the games. I'm going to put you on the spot right now. You're our guest picker tonight. All right? So
All
we'll
right.
start. Springfield, Mogador.
I think Springfield has the toughest test tonight. They're going to see all night. I think Mogador is really good. Really good program. I'm going to pick Springfield to win that game 35-28. It's going to be a 7-point win.
Look at him come with
All right,
scores, too, on
I like
top
that.
of this.
Okay.
Man. This is our
All
man.
right.
And he does babysitting on the
right,
side.
He does. There's babysitting on his side. No question.
All right. I'm with you. I got Springfield.
I think Springfield by 3 touchdowns.
Springfield starts close, and then Springfield pulls away, wins by 20.
Yeah. Okay. Now, the showdown up in Poland. Bulldogs or Irish?
See, I went to South Range. We played Ursuline in the playoffs. We were prone not to like Ursuline. So I'm going to continue that and say Poland beats them by 10 tonight.
By 10.
I think Ursuline turns the ball over early and can't recover after that.
Okay. Like I said, something tells me Poland, but my gut's saying Irish tonight. So I'm going to go there. Steve, you're out of this one. Nick?
We've been saying it that Poland wants to keep it around 24, so let's go 24. Poland
right.
24, Ursuline 17.
Okay. Now, you get the last pick in this.
He'll go last there.
You go last here. South Range, Crestview. I think we're going to have a dynamite ball game here, folks. I just like everything about both teams. I like both coaches. I like the way they both approach the games. I like that this is basically a backyard brawl in the postseason. I hate that it's the final time
Sad
unless
to see
they
it
see. But I think the Raiders have played a tougher schedule to get to this point. I like the Raiders, and I like them by at least 14 tonight.
I'm right on it, Mike. Exactly. We were saying before, the autumn wind is a Raider, and the Raiders are going to win tonight. Crestview does a good job, but I think 14 is about right. 14-point win.
14-point win. What'd you say?
14.
Okay, so last night we go with words, we go with things. Last night it was Hollabah.
And tonight it is?
Tonight it is a Patron. He will be the difference tonight. Offensively, make big plays in the air and on the ground. Michael Patron will be the difference. I'm going to say South Range 35, Crestview 17.
That got a good ring to it, by the way. Patron on prime time.
Patron on prime
And if there's
time.
anybody, it's from a primetime family. It's Mikey.
Michael Patron.
and you know what? If they win, he better be on.
Oh, we'll get him on.
Time.
Oh, we'll get him on prime
Joe
time.
Dickey
Sure.
Electric.
Joe Dickey
Scoreboard.
alert. We will have
be
that
here.
after.
Yep,
we will have that
Okay.
after.
We have one more pick to
We
go.
have one more pick to go, and it would only be fitting.
Played at South Range.
Played at South Range. It's time for a trick or a treat.
Who you got?
Who you got? I don't want words. I want a mascot.
I want action.
I want action.
Before you get the mascot head, I can't tell you how excited I am from being from South Range, playing in this rivalry. This is one of the games when I was a senior in high school. We had 3 games that we were not allowed to lose when we got taught when we were little kids. When we get to high school, 1, you don't lose to Springfield. 2, you don't lose to Columbiana, and 3, you don't lose to Crestview. Crestview and South Range has been a rivalry for a very, very long time. And Coach gets these boys, and Coach Yeagley gets these boys just fired up and tells them, hey, people are picking Crestview to win. They don't think you have a chance. This is a great game. And you know what? I think it's time for me to make my pick.
All right.
Drum roll. We have a drum roll?
Drum roll,
Here
please. Mr.
comes
Betos.
The headset.
Oh, there He's got the Raiders. He's got the Raiders.
Outstanding.
That is beautiful.
Absolutely. Gotta love it. Hey, before we sign off here, one thing I want to tell the fans, we're going to let the Raider join us here. $9.99. Any of these 3 games you want to watch tonight, and you can flip back and forth. But what is great, 25% goes to the schools.
Right.
And DJ told us last night, $25,000 YSN is giving back to the schools. Please, folks, this is about the schools. This isn't about YSN. This is about contributing back to schools in a tough time. You can't beat what you guys have done, Steve.
No, well, I appreciate that. I know, obviously, again, EB with the idea to do this. Hats off to him. DJ and Brian are phenomenal. Quinn, Eric, everybody here. It's a team. There's no eyes in this team, and we continue to do things the right way. But I'm with you. Hop on here the last 35 minutes, buy this package, help out both of these great schools, support them, and enjoy 3 great games tonight.
Make sure you join us
Yeah,
later. For
we'll
the
be
Joe
back
Dickey
for some
scoreboard
fun
show.
after the game.
Yeah, and right after the game, the Joe Dickey Electric Scoreboard, we're going to set up right here. We will have the winning coach and players.
And this
coming
is
in
our
for
guy
interview.
right here.
And if they win, I can guarantee Jeff will be behind
he
us.
will be behind
with
us with
the
the Raider
Raiders
head on.
head on.
All right.
Absolutely. First off, thank you all for joining us for the first inaugural Prime Time on YSN. We appreciate it. We hope you're set for the games. Again, $9.99. You can watch any of the 3 games tonight. Springfield, Mogador, Ursuline, Poland, South Range, Crestview. We will see you after the games are over tonight with the Joe Dickey Electric Scoreboard. Thank you.